What's up, guys? The Snowman here, and just about that time for the most important clay court tournament of the year, Roland Garros. I'm all ready to break down this men's draw. Please check out my women's preview too, but the men's field is stacked. Will we see Rafael Nadal lift another French Open trophy? That would be a record 14th for the Spaniard. Or will the title go to a challenger? Let's break down this draw, look at some matchups, and just get ready for the French Open. Checking out the men's draw, a couple of quick injury notes. Unfortunately, no Denis Shapovalov, who's played really well the last couple of weeks, making the final in Geneva. He's been dealing with a shoulder problem, so no Shapo in Paris. Also no Stan Wawrinka, who's still recovering from foot surgery. But I believe other than them, the rest of the men's top 30 is in this draw that we can take a look at now. And what an insane draw. We've got the big three, Federer, Nadal, and Djokovic, all on the same half of this bracket. You can see Joker and Fed in this top quarter. Let's start with the world number one, Novak Djokovic, playing in Belgrade this week. He moved into 5th place on the ATP all-time tour level wins list, passing Guillermo Vilas. The only players with more wins than Novak in their careers, Connors, Federer, Lendl, and Nadal. So he just continues to ascend up the record books. Djokovic coming off a final in Rome where he lost to his great rival Rafa Nadal. In fact, Nadal has now beaten Djokovic the last 5 times they've met on clay, including last October's French Open final beatdown. So Joker not going to be in love with the fact that he could meet Rafa in the semifinals. Other names to point out in this first section, number 13, David Goffin, also the 9 seed Matteo Berrettini. He's been playing well lately, just made his first career Masters 1000 final in Madrid where he lost to Zverev. The 20 seed Felix Auger-Aliassime is slated to play a man old enough to be his father in Andrea Seppi. And at the bottom you can see another old man, number 8, Roger Federer. Some of the younger fans might forget about Roger's clay court prowess, but he does have the 3rd most match wins at Roland Garros all time after Rafa and Novak. Top 10 winning percentage all time in Paris too. Has only played the French Open once since 2015, but he did have a nice run to the semis in 2019 before losing to Nadal on a blustery spring day. And for him, for Federer, I think it's more about just getting in a good rhythm before Wimbledon and the grass season, playing in a few matches. It's a rigorous draw for Fed, potentially Marin Cilic in round 2, Taylor Fritz in round 3, and then Berrettini or FAA. All that to maybe set up a 51st career meeting between Federer and Djokovic. They haven't played on clay in 6 years, but I'd imagine Novak would be at least an 80% favorite in that match. I do see the Serbian advancing to the semis. Pulling up section number 2, and there he is, the king of clay. So strange to see him as a 3 seed in Paris, but here we are, Rafa Nadal going for more history. He's the betting favorite to win not only his 14th Roland Garros title, but also his 21st Grand Slam title overall. That would leapfrog him ahead of his nemesis Roger Federer, and it would be the first time since 2009 that Fed doesn't possess the most majors all time. And what Nadal has done at the French Open, really incomprehensible when you think about it. 100 wins and just 2 losses in Paris. And the Spaniard completed another dandy of a clay court run the last couple months, picking up his 12th title in Barcelona and his 10th trophy in Rome. Rafa will want to be as ruthless and efficient as possible throughout the first week, as he knows Djokovic could be waiting in the wings. Gaston or Gasquet in round 2 for Rafa. Either way, it'll be a Frenchman with a gorgeous one-handed backhand and a last name that starts with Gas. Some dangerous Italians in this section. The 26 seed Lorenzo Sonego could play Rafa in the 3rd round. He just beat Rublev and Thiem to make the semifinals in Rome. Also, number 18, Jannik Sinner continues to impress. It's a nice mini section for the youngster who won't be overly intimidated by Nadal if they meet in the round of 16. If I remember correctly, Sinner was the only player to even take Rafa to a tiebreaker at the 2020 French Open. He played him really well. Sinner seems to be kind of pegged on everyone's board as a future Grand Slam champion. Number 10, Diego Schwartzman, is in the same part of the draw as the Russian who's kind of owned him this season, Azlan Karatsev. Karatsev with 5 top 10 wins this year. And as of right now, he's in position to qualify for the year-end finals in Turin. Quite remarkable considering he was a relatively unknown commodity before the season. and then the powerful number 7, Andrei Rublev at the bottom. There's definitely a handful of men who will try to stop Nadal in this section, but unfortunately for them, their efforts very likely to go in vain. Section number 3 leads off with the number 6 seed Alexander Zverev at the top, and Zverev has to be on cloud 9 after seeing this draw. Really, he, Dominic Thiem, Stefano Sitsupos, one of those guys very likely going to be in this Roland Garros final, with Djokovic and Nadal being stuck on the same half. And even luckier for Zverev, he won't have to play a non-qualifier until the third round. Now, we should mention, just because you see the word qualifier doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a gimme. For all we know, Zverev could have to play young Carlos Alcaraz, who at age 18 just became the 5th youngest player since 2000 to break into the ATP Top 100. Overall, though, for Zverev, a 4th Masters 1000 title in Madrid, where he out-hit the King of Clay. He's one of 3 players all time to defeat Nadal on clay, Federer on grass, and Djokovic on hard court. The other 2 players, Andy Murray and Dominic Thiem. One knock on Zverev, though, he's still yet to defeat a top 10 player in a Grand Slam, so maybe he'll get a chance against Thiem in the quarterfinals. Watch out for number 15, Casper Rude, though. He's my ultimate dark horse, 22 years old, up to number 16 in the world. He's 15-4 on clay this season, has reached 3 straight Masters 1000 semifinals on clay, and he won his 2nd career title last week in Geneva. And I've lauded about Rude's game before, but if you don't know, massive topspin off of both wings. I'm talking gargantuan levels of RPMs. Over the last few years, he's top 3 in both forehand and backhand RPM production. So Rude's ground strokes just explode off of the springy surface of the clay, gets up very high on his opponents, and he plays the unpredictable Benoit pair in the first round. Should be pretty fun. We've got Hubie Hurkacz, Fabio Fognini below, and the 2-time French Open finalist at the bottom, Dominic Thiem. Domi's kind of had a funky season so far. Shockingly, just 9-7 overall. Some head-scratching results, including a blowout loss to Cam Norrie last week in Lyon, and Thiem's been managing a foot injury in 2021 as well. You know, I think there was always going to be a natural dip after he finally broke through and won that maiden slam in New York last fall, but Thiem is in dire need of a signature run. Such excellent form at Roland Garros the past 5 years. I think as of right now, he would be my pick to make the final from this half of the draw. Final section, and another player we could all see making the final is number 5, Stefano Sitsupos, who's found another gear the last few months. He's been the number 1 player in 2021 so far based off of rankings points. Steph has played 10 tournaments, and 9 of those he's made the quarterfinals or better, so astonishingly consistent this season. Titles on clay in Monte Carlo and Lyon, and I'm impressed with his transition offense. Moving forward after defending is exceptional. Heavy spin and variety on his ground strokes, finding such precise angles. I'd be very surprised if Tsitsipas doesn't find himself back in the French Open semis like he was in October. He's got Shardy in round 1, maybe young American Sebastian Korda in round 2. The U.S. actually with no men in the top 30 of the ATP rankings for the first time since the rankings were introduced back in 1973. Fritz, Opelka, Isner, all hovering in the 30s, but no true star for the U.S. I think Sebastian Korda might be the best American bet for the future. He's got a phenomenal all-court game coming off a productive week in Parma. And speaking of the U.S., we've got a couple of all-American affairs here. 2 behemoths facing off in Isner and Sam Querrey. Also, Francis Tiafoe matching up with Stevie Johnson. I don't see a counterpuncher like Pablo Carreño Busta troubling Tsitsipas too much if they meet in the round of 16. And then at the very bottom, you'll see the 2 seed Daniil Medvedev with his 11-20 career record on clay. Yes, 11-20. And according to Tennis Abstract, Medvedev has the 3rd best ELO in the world, but only the 88th best on clay. So essentially, he's a top 3 player, but it's a completely different story on clay. And you can see in some of these events the last couple of months, Medvedev has such a negative demeanor. You can see his disdain and contempt for playing on clay, just despises the surface in every way. Hopefully we'll at least get some more good memes out of it. Medvedev yet to get out of the first round at the French Open, 0-4 all time. And his first round opponent, Alexander Bublik, also very unafraid to speak his mind. That match will be entertainment of the highest degree. Expect some on-court tirades, maybe a few busted rackets. Sign me up for it. Overall, I do think Tsitsipas makes it out from this quarter, but My final is Rafa Nadal versus Dominic Thiem. You can't go on the internet, you can't go on YouTube and pick against Nadal in Paris. So I do see the King of Clay making it 14 titles in a couple of weeks. All right, thanks a lot for watching my 2021 men's Roland Garros preview. Please check out my women's preview as well. Leave a comment. Let me know if you think Rafa's going to make history over the next couple of weeks by winning his 21st Grand Slam title. And if you want more tennis preview videos and content, please subscribe to the Snowman Sports Media. Cheers.